To Trust News Hour, I am Abdurrahman Omar. And now the news in full. As political tension simmers in Kano ahead of the highly anticipated Supreme Court judgment on the state governorship election, the police is reviewing its security parameters to prevent the breakdown of law and order. The Kano Police Command had, after a strategic meeting with the political stakeholders of both NNPP and APC, announced a robust plan to curtail security threats facing the state. Idris Jibrin has more.
These are leaders of two rival political parties in Kano meeting with heads of all security agencies over the governorship election dispute pending before the Supreme Court. At the end of this meeting, the security situation is reviewed and arrangements are agreed upon to be put in place for ensuring no breakdown of law and order during the forthcoming Supreme Court verdict.
The police command had adequately attended to a number of plots by some faceless political pressure groups who are hell-bent on fomenting trouble to stampede on the general security situation of the state from being very peaceful as it is at now. However, we must appreciate and commend the leadership of both the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, and the All Progressive Congress, APC.
Going forward, the police command is also embarking on general sensitization of all stakeholders, including religious leaders, community groups, and civil society organizations, among other concerned citizens in Kano. The command assures that no stone will be left unturned in ensuring peace and stability before, during, and after the Supreme Court verdict.
The meeting addressed some emerging security concerns with the leadership of both the New Nigeria People's Party and the All Progressive Congress, APC, some selected local government council chairmen. At the end of the meeting, all the stakeholders reiterated their commitment towards sustaining the peace accord signed.
For these political leaders in Kano, peaceful coexistence in the state is not negotiable, as they reiterated their commitments towards sustaining the peace accord they earlier signed.
We are proud to say that the security agency have never found us wanting in one thing or other. So thank you, the good people of Kano State, and thank you, the NNPP supporters of in Kano State, and even the opposition party, those that wanted to take our mandate through court, but God will not give them that power.
Last month, there was a peace accord that was signed here. Without making emphasis, you know those who violated that peace. So I don't have to be making noise here, pretending to be what I am not, or pretending to be what APC is not.
The appeal court in Abuja had earlier upheld judgment of the election tribunal, which affirmed the APC candidate Nasiru Gawuna as the duly elected governor of Kano State, a situation that led to protests and confrontation with the police across many parts of Kano State. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now joining us on the news hour to discuss the political tension in Kano is Camilo San, a professor of political science at the Bayero University, Kano. Professor Camilo is joining Biafon from Mina in Niger State. Prof, we thank you sincerely for taking the time to join us. Now, what do you make of the fresh peace accord signing by the main rival of political parties in Kano State? And do you think it will have the expected impact required?
You see, the peace accord has been signed by all parties after initial resistance. And it helped us in Kano for some time because there was high tension and expectation that the 2023 elections are likely going to be volatile. But as God will have it, due to such agreement, I think there was restraint by all parties. But the way things are going now, I think it will require more than hope for the party to work. What I mean is the leaders must willingly come out and support it and douse the tension. They must also call on their supporters to abide by it. And I think all well-meaning people of Kano, known as Kanawa, should now stand firmly behind the accord, irrespective of how and the outcome of the court verdict comes out.
Now, when you look at it, the police says it is committed to preventing the breakdown of law and order. What's your reading of the threat to peace, especially looking at the political atmosphere at the moment?
You see, the political atmosphere is very charged, given the two verdicts, and we are now expecting the final one. So I think it's a very charged situation because there is a kind of vendetta between the major political actors. You know, they were in the same camp, and usually when you have a split within the camp, it tends to be more fierce, more violent. So this is what has happened. And, people allow it to grow over time. Each one now having his own camp. This is Kwankwasia, this is Gandujia, and now it is taking us to even national politics. What is started as purely state thing, now is taking a wider dimension.
These are leaders of two rival political parties in Kano, meeting with hate.
Court. How will the verdict make or break Kano State, although we are not praying for that?
Now it depends actually on the verdict. Okay, if the Supreme Court is seen to be fair, then perhaps it is going to douse tension. But fairness depends on which side. Each side will consider decision in its favor as being fair. But I think the way things are now, the Supreme Court has the final thing. It can actually mar or make the kind of politics because the tension is very high. Despite the fact that the police are saying that they will handle the situation, but I think fairness is what will douse the tension, not the police threat.
Thank you, Professor Camilo San, for adding value to the discussion. We appreciate your insight this evening.
Thank you very much.
Now, moving on. Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have invaded a students' lodge at the Federal University of Lafia, kidnapping no fewer than 17 students. Reports say there had been an uneasy camp in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, following protests by students of the school. The incident, which occurred at about 11 p.m. on Wednesday, had only 2 students escaped from the lodge when the suspected kidnappers invaded the area. Meanwhile, students of the university have taken to the streets in the state to protest the invasion and frequent robbery cases in the school, and are appealing to the management of the institution and security agencies to address the situation. Students were seen carrying placards with different inscriptions and demanding for the unconditional release of their colleagues. When contacted, the Public Relations Officer of the University, Abubakar Ibrahim, who confirmed the incident, explained that the total number of students abducted were yet to be ascertained. Confirming the incident, a Public Relations Officer of the Nasarawa State Command, DSP Ranham Nounsel, said the command was yet to confirm the actual number of students that were abducted, adding that the identity of the victims still remain unknown. In the meantime, the National Youth Service Corps has officially confirmed the release of 2 corps members who were kidnapped in Zamfara. The Director of Press and Public Relations of the scheme, Eddie Mogwa, announced that the abducted prospective corps members were freed on Thursday. The corps members were abducted while traveling from Oyo, Akwa Ibom to Sokoto State in an Akwa Ibom transport company bus to participate in the mandatory national service. Of the 11 kidnapped, 3 managed to escape during the abduction, leaving 8. Megwa revealed that one was rescued on September 1st, while another regained freedom on October 20th, adding that the latest 2 were released on Thursday. 4 members of the corps are still awaiting rescue. Maguire expressed the relief felt by the NYSC with the recent successful rescues. According to him, the released corps members who are currently receiving medical attention will be reunited with their families and continue their national service afterwards. And on security matters, the troops of Joint Task Force Northwest Operation HadinDaji have thwarted a terrorist attack on Njibga village of Zape local government area and averted farm produce destruction in Faru village of Maradun local government area, all in Zamfara state. During the encounters, 3 terrorists were neutralized and 3 AK-47 rifles, 3 magazines ammunition and 2 motorcycles were recovered. In a statement, the spokesperson of the Operation HadinDaji, Captain Yahya Ibrahim, said on the 7th of December, the joint troops of Operation HadinDaji failed a terrorist attack on Njibga village in Zafe local government area of Zamfara state following a serious firefighting that left 2 of the terrorists neutralized while others escaped with gunshot wounds. In another development, the parish priest of St. Michael's Catholic Church in Omokebe community in the Oshuwere Autonomous Community of Isiala Mbano local government area of Imo State, Reverend Father Kingsley Eze, also known as Father Ichi, and his driver, Ochina Newman, have regained their freedom. Gunmen had on Thursday last week kidnapped the Catholic priest and the driver. A parishioner who pleaded anonymity said the church members were terrified by the abduction of the priest and the other person. He confirmed the priest and his driver had returned home unharmed, although it is not yet confirmed whether ransom was paid before they were released or not. There are speculations, however, that the priest and his driver allegedly paid 500,000 naira ransom for their freedom. He was released somewhere around Omochike Oke in the Onume local government area of the state. In the meantime, ahead of the Christmas festivities, the police in Imo State is fast-tracking security measures to guarantee a hitch-free celebration for residents. The police gave the public assurance while parading suspected ASN and IPOB members arrested in connection to kidnapping activities in the state. Trust TV's Ajibade Press now reports.
Speaking at the command's headquarters on Monday, shortly after the operation was carried out, the CP opined that it was yet another huge success recorded by the operative of the anti-kidnapping unit of the command, as they successfully dislodged these dangerous men from their criminal hideouts. The suspects, numbering 17 in number, are between the ages of 18 and 28 years old.
Following the last 2 days arrests of some of the hoodlums, some of them made confessional statements that led the anti-kidnapping units of this command into a thick forest. When they sighted the police team, they engaged the police, the unit on gun duel, and our personnel overpowered them. And it led to the arrest of 17 hoodlums, and they recovered arms.
The kingpin, Chukwuebuka Obi, a native of Ngopala, in his confessional statement affirmed their involvement in nefarious activities in the state, all in the name of fighting for Biafra.
As the Eastern Security Network, we fight for Biafra, fight for freedom, and some other illegal activities.
Like what and what?
Like fighting against the Nigerian police in Igbo land.
The suspect also made some shocking revelations on how they have been attacking police stations and killing policemen in their state.
You told me you fight against police,
yes,
and you are aware police have been dying in these states as a result of attacks here and there. So yes, tell me.
That's the handwork of the Eastern Security Network. Moreover, Eastern Security Network has no one branch. There are many branches, which I can't even tell you, because we have many branches all over here in Imo State. There are many camps of Eastern Security Network here in Imo State.
Okay, your own camp. Have people attacked police before? Your own camp? Yeah.
Yes, sir. In Ogo police station, sir.
What and what did you do there?
We went there to attack some policemen, sir. So on the process, after the work, we lost one of our members.
The Commissioner for Police also used the medium to assure residents of the state of their preparedness to keep the state safe and secured during and after the Yuletide.
And I'm appealing to Imolites in and out of this country. They are free to come to Imo and celebrate their Christmas and New Year festival without any molestation. Thank you.
Danjuma said all suspects will be charged to court to face the wrath of the law upon the completion of the investigation. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Now, the police in Ogun State is appealing to residents to be security conscious and avoid going out without informing their relatives. The police made the appeal in Abuja when after exhuming the corpse of a victim killed by suspected ritualists. Abbas Ibrahim Lalibi now reports.
The Ogun State Police Commissioner warned residents of the state to be conscious of antics of ritualists, kidnappers, human part sellers who always lure unsuspecting members of the public to isolated areas to carry out their nefarious acts.
What happened was on the 8th of November, we received a report of missing person. One Akim Salami claimed that his son, one called Salami, 18 years of age, left their residence and has since not returned. The matter was handed over to our anti-corruption or the command's anti-kidnapping team, who on technical intelligence recovered the phone of the missing person. Further analysis of the phone took us to this place.
Commissioner Alamutu, who was speaking after exhuming the corpse of a missing person at the house of one of the suspected ritualists who claimed to be a herbalist, noted that the suspect allegedly killed the victim, cut off his head and wrist, and sold them to one of his customers.
The head and the two wrists was sold to his partner, Niyi Ifadu, for the sum of 100,000. He was using some other parts, and the remaining he buried in the shallow grave that he just covered.
He said through intelligence and painstaking effort by his men, 2 suspects have been arrested. The suspect, who said he regrets his action, pleaded for mercy and promised that he will never engage in such acts again.
God should forgive me. And if God give me an opportunity not to do this again, I won't repeat this anymore.
The commissioner said the matter is still being investigated to ensure that everybody involved is arrested and prosecuted in order to reduce such incidents in the society. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Now, the Nigerian Navy has arrested 17 people said to be engaged in the illegal siphoning of crude oil in Ondo State. Navy spokesperson Commodore Adedotun Olukayode Ayu, who disclosed this in a statement, said the suspects were nabbed at the Forward Operating Base FOB Ibokoda in the early hours of Thursday. Also intercepted by the naval authorities was a 77-meter-long motor tanker, Valeris 1 Lagos. The naval spokesman stated that on arrival at the scene, it was discovered that the vessel was actively involved in siphoning crude oil from both sides of the wellhead. He noted that the arrest of MT Valeris 1 Lagos shows the Nigerian Navy's determination to curb crude oil theft and all manners of illegalities in Nigeria's maritime domain. Now, Daily Trust newspapers, the flagship publication of Media Trust Group, has won the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria CITN Merit Award in the print media category. The award was presented during the fellowship conferment and annual dinner, an award held in Lagos. Daily Trust newspaper was honored in appreciation of its relentless effort in educating taxpayers and government on tax matters. The award was presented by a past president of the Institute, Asuaju Femi Jegede, to the General Manager Southern Operations, Ademola Oladuso, who represented the newspaper. President and Chairman of CITN Samuel Abilui said the awardees were selected for their outstanding contributions to the advocacy on tax matters.
On behalf of the President of CITN, and the entire membership, it's my pleasure to present this flag to the gay loving people in appreciation of our relentless effort and the Please keep the door for
Please round of applause for the daily trust. We appreciate you greatly.
This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Nigerians express mixed views as internet fraud perpetrated by students reach new heights. Details of that and more after the break. Do stay with us.
It's time to jackpot for more fun. This season, there are loads of exciting content. Enjoy all the drama, intrigue, suspense, and romance in a wide range of telenovela series, Nollywood movies, Bollywood, kiddies program, and introducing our new kiddies channel, Wooing. After 5 years of waiting, the Nigerian Premier Football League is finally back, live and exclusively on Star Times.
Enjoy more this season with our jackpot promo. Recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet and get 14 days free, or recharge 2 months and get upgraded to a higher bouquet. Wow! Recharge now and jackpot for more fun and stand a chance to win Sundial TV and other fantastic gifts. Offer runs till January 20, 2024. Terms and conditions apply. Star Times. Entertain your family.
So you're not just a professor theorizing, you grew up as a businessman, but it's noticeable you yourself really didn't go into radical politics. You stayed fairly within the conservative confines, if I may say so.
In practice, I wasn't participating, but in terms of the ideas,
you had
two ideas, yes. And also when we discussed, I can point out some of the things that they didn't know. And I saw that going into political arena, I wasn't going to get the chance to raise my children the way I want, educationally, professionally, and so on. It's true that I can blame myself for not giving back to society or taking my time to improve society. I remain at improving myself, if you like. So I accept that. But look, you can't do everything. You can't do everything.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV, and here is a recap of some of our major stories. Political stakeholders signed fresh peace accord in Kano as tension simmers ahead of Supreme Court ruling. NYSC confirms the release of 2 abducted co-members in Zamfara as kidnapped Catholic priest regains freedom in Imo. Now to other stories. Anti-corruption agencies in the country have been charged to redouble their efforts in the fight against corruption to enable Nigerians enjoy the benefits of democratic governance. The charge came on the sidelines of the 2023 International Anti-Corruption Day, where Nigerians in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, said corruption has denied Nigerians the benefits of democracy, hence the need to fight it to a halt. Hamid Oyebade has the rest of the story.
Since the passage of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption on 31st of October 2003, To raise public awareness on anti-corruption war, the International Anti-Corruption Day has been observed annually on December 9. In Nigeria, the anti-graft agencies have arrested and prosecuted some corrupt individuals to serve as deterrents to others, but corruption is still thriving across the country. Residents of Osun State have therefore called on the anti-graft bodies to do more towards reducing corruption in Nigeria to the barest minimum.
If we can eradicate the corruption right away from those people that is governing on us, the corruption will stop.
Our leaders must do more in the fight against corruption. The war against corruption can only succeed when leaders lead by example. Corrupt people must be prosecuted to serve as deterrents to others. A retired police officer, Adekunle Omoyele, urged government to provide necessary resources for law enforcement agents to carry out their duties efficiently.
The battalions to do everything, the government are taking care of all those things. So if it is applied in all ministry, I don't think you can give any money to anybody to do what? Because all what you need is there. So that is where corruption can be eradicated.
But serious nations are making efforts to stem the tide of corruption. That is where where Nigeria wants to be. That is what ICPC, EFCC, and other anti-corruption agencies were established to do for Nigeria. And that is why we are commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day to do a reassessment and to look forward and do a better war against corruption in Nigeria.
The theme for this year's Global Anti-Corruption Day is Uniting the World Against Corruption for Development, Peace and Security. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Now, the House of Representatives has underscored the need for international collaboration to tackle the scourge of corruption in Nigeria. Chairman House Committee on Anti-Corruption Kayode Akiolu, who disclosed this in Abuja during the inaugural meeting of the Standing Committee, reiterated the 10th Assembly's readiness to strengthen transparency and accountability through collaboration and legislative reforms, while assuring civil society organizations and international organizations of robust engagement in the discharge of the committee's duties. Asolu assured Nigerians that the committee will ensure effective monitoring and evaluation of the efforts of anti-corruption agencies. Akiolu, who helped on the need to combat corruption and uphold the integrity of the nation, pledged his resolve to lead the committee towards a significant progress in the fight against corruption in Nigeria, aligned with the House of Representatives' agenda to ensure transparent governance and accountability.
What to enhance the anti-corruption initiative. Overall, conducting regular visits to anti-corruption agencies is a valuable approach to monitor, evaluate their efforts in mitigating corruption.
On a related development, the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation and Aerospace Technology says it will look into the controversy surrounding the launch of Nigeria Air project and inform Nigerians accordingly. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Abiodun Akilade, stated this in his remarks on Thursday during the inaugural meeting of the committee in Abuja. Report.
This is the inaugural meeting of the Committee on Aviation and Aerospace Technology. Aside from looking into the controversy surrounding the launched Nigeria Air project, the committee says it is also committed to address air crashes as well as other safety abnormalities in the country's airports.
The committee is highly concerned and worried at the recent serious air crashes in Nigeria. We will, with the support of airline operators of Nigeria, the regulatory authorities, organize an high-tech stakeholders town hall meeting to look into the causes of the air crashes and other safety abnormalities at our various airports. Our air must be safe for all. I repeat, our air must be safe for all to fly.
In another development, the House Committee on FCT Area Council and Auxiliaries Matter says the committee shall pay attention to all sectors under its mandate, particularly agriculture, cultural festivals, resettlement schemes, satellite town development as it concerns the indigenes and residents of the FCT.
Chieftaincy development in the area councils, improved revenue drive, inter-house sports in schools to identify and develop talents as well as education and health development. In all, as a committee, we shall take our oversight functions seriously to improve service delivery.
In a related development, the member representing Hamak Buhari Federal Constituency, Joshua Ubika, has appealed to President Tinubu for the creation of a Special Security Intervention Fund for the complete overhaul of FCT security architecture. He also suggested that more work should be done in the area of intelligence gathering, stressing that the blind spots like surrounding bushes should be periodically raided, while uncompleted buildings should be adequately evacuated or policed.
Intensify public enlightenment on civilian participation on security preparedness. There should be a framework for coordinating the various security services contractors swimming around the territory to integrate their operations into the FCT security architecture. In the same vein, residents should be more watchful and should report suspicious movement around them to the security agencies.
Other areas are lighted that requires urgent intervention in the FCT according to the lawmakers includes education sector reform, health, urban transportation, rural infrastructure, housing, environment, amongst others. Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, on judicial matters, the National Judicial Council has recommended the compulsory retirement of a judge of the Osun High Court, S.O. Falola, over an alleged false order. The NJC also set off 11 panels to investigate 51 petitions against other judges over various acts of misconduct in the discharge of their judicial duties. The Director of Information at the NJC, Soji Oye, who disclosed this, said the action is part of the decisions reached at the 104th meeting of the NJC, presided over by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, in Abuja. He said the council invoked its constitutional powers and placed the judge on indefinite suspension from duties pending the time the Governor Ademola Adeleke will give effect to its recommendation. The NJC indicated that Justice Falola granted a garnishee order against Polaris Bank for the sum of 283,174,000 naira in a questionable and strange manner. The compulsory retirement recommendation was made sequel to the findings of an investigation committee in a petition written against the judge by one Dapo Kolapo, Olowo, and Polaris Bank. Justice Falola was also found wanting for attaching the account of the garnishee with another garnishee and not the account of the judgment debtor, who had the legal obligation to pay the supposed judgment sum. Well, still on judicial matters, a federal high court sitting in Akure, the Ondo State capital, has granted stringent bail conditions for 3 persons who were arrested for UTME registration impersonation examination malpractice. Temilahin Akinwale, Olayinka Mustafa, and Peter Okereke were arrested on February 15, 2023 at Aina Awe International College, Eluabo, which was a CBT center for JAM registration and examination. They were arraigned and remanded in prison in May 2023. At the resumed hearing of the case on Thursday, Justice T.O. Adegoke granted bail to the defendants in the sum of 1 million naira each, with sureties who must have a company registered with Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC) and do business within Akure Metropolis. Justice Adegoke ruled that the sureties must show evidence of tax clearance for the past 3 years and must deposit the original copies of their company registration certificate with the registrar of the court. while the sum of 1 million naira each from each of the defendants must be deposited in the account to be provided by the court registrar. The sureties and each of the defendants, according to the judge, must write an undertaking that the defendants will attend their trial till the conclusion of the case. In the meantime, Nigeria's blemished international image has been linked to the growing phenomenon of internet fraud, which has become the preoccupation of some youth in the country. In recent times, students in higher institutions have been increasingly connected to the surge in internet fraud, leading to a national discourse on the cause and effect. Jimmy Azandi spoke to a cross-section of students in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, for this report.
Internet fraud, commonly known as Yahoo, has become a scourge, undermining the integrity of Nigerian society, with thousands of youths caught in the web of the get-rich-quick syndrome. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission recently arrested students across some states in the country for crimes related to internet fraud, a signal that the phenomenon is fast spreading in higher institutions. Some of the students who spoke to Trust TV News say the opulent lifestyle of some students on campus without known sources of income shows the prevalence of the phenomenon.
The way students are doing on campus today is very alarming. You can look at during sign-outs when they are graduating, they will be spending more money. They bring out cars that are more expensive than even the lecturers.
Majority of students who came from poor backgrounds, they do spend money on luxurious things. They do go outing with friends, they eat things, and they sometimes have accommodation where they know that the parents cannot even afford them.
Other respondents say there is need for the authorities to conduct proper background checks on fraudsters who may not be students, so as to prevent stereotyping students who have no connection to internet fraud or scam.
Majority of students are sponsored by themselves in school. Some are sponsored by their parents, and some have focused. For the fact that we have Yahoo boys now as students in universities, there are still majority of students that are taking care of all the school tuitions by themselves, and they are doing whatever thing concerning their academic purposes by themselves, and they see how focus. They don't do their own.
Any young person that is looking good, any young student that is looking good, dressing well, having some good kind of life, they feel like as this Yahoo something is now rampant everywhere. When you are living well, it attracts their attention, thinking of how your income and how you are doing all these kind of things.
There is a growing concern that Nigeria needs to check the excesses of youths with unexplained wealth, which has become the fuel to recruit more young Nigerians into the illicit practice.
It's so pathetic that internet fraud, the so-called Yahoo internet fraud, is not the order of the day in our society. You see every young man, every young guy wants to be a Yahoo boy, make money from defrauding people. It's so sad and pathetic that that's the stage we are now.
Yahoo boys have become a commonly used slang in Nigeria, and its popularity suggests it is a menace that will destroy the value system of the society if left unchecked, as security agencies continue to clamp down on individuals involved in the criminal act. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Now, the federal government has announced plans to shut down public buildings that do not comply with the minimum standards of accessibility for persons with disabilities from January 17, 2024. The Executive Secretary, National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, James Lalu, disclosed this on Thursday while briefing newsmen in Abuja. The briefing was a part of the 16th day's activism to commemorate the 2023 International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Lalu said the Commission will swing into action immediately after the expiration of the 5-year ultimatum given to organizations by the federal government, which is expected to elapse on January 16, 2024. In the meantime, Nigerian professionals are decrying the impact of the partial implementation of Nigeria's Local Content Act as the Senate Committee on Interior sounds the alarm on counterproductive practices by multinational companies operating in Nigeria. In this report, Trust TV speaks to experts on the gaps in the system. Here's the report. With Nigeria's unemployment rate at 4.1%, it has become imperative for government to activate measures that will absorb Nigerians into gainful employment. Recently, the Ministry of Interior announced surpassing its 600 million naira revenue target from the issuance of expatriate quota permits in 2023, thereby generating 1,195 billion naira between January and October, a development that has been described as a net negative, considering the cost on Nigeria's human capital development.
It will affect it positively and negatively. Positively in the sense that these expatriates, when they come in, yes, we learn some things from them, which they already have from their well-developed climes. But negatively and negatively, very negative, they will take the jobs, they will take opportunities, they will take even businesses. I have seen a situation where a Chinese company is producing bread in Nigeria because they have the capital.
The operations of multinational companies in Nigeria have long been a controversial talking point, with homegrown professionals picking holes in the expatriate quota, which is undermining and limiting opportunities for Nigerian expats across sectors.
We have the details. We have the list of the expatriates, but highly placed people very close to government are involved. Maybe they are getting some benefits out of it, but the benefit is always going to come back negative to the country.
Kemekoro is a human rights activist who says the federal government is constitutionally mandated to protect the interests of Nigerians first at all times for sustainable growth and development.
Government ordinarily ought to exist for the people. But it does appear that in Nigeria, the reverse is the case. The government is existing for the personal benefit of the individuals who are manning the helm of affairs in governance. Hence, the people, including the youth, are no longer reaping the benefits of democracy.
With the federal government generating more money from the issuance of expatriate quota, industry players believe the government should look at its impact on the livelihood of Nigerians.
Look at local content. You have in terms of services, you have in terms of the personnel, and in terms of materials. But this has to do with the personnel. And I think we have the right personnel today in Nigeria to handle most of these areas you have mentioned in terms of professionals.
This week, the chairman Senate Committee on Interior, Adams Oshemolu, raised the alarm on prisoners from foreign countries working on construction sites across Nigeria to the dismay of homegrown experts while calling for the regulation of quotas.
The Executive Order 5 and the local content laws always give that clause that where there is no capacity in Nigeria, that expatriate must be understudied by 5 Nigerian professionals.
The Local Content Act in Nigeria has been designed to engender the consideration, protection and development of homegrown talents across industries, maintaining a balance with foreign expertise. The current trend in the country, however, leaves much to be desired. Now, as living cost and other predicaments occasioned by fuel subsidy removal continue to bite harder on many Nigerians, Katsina residents are resorting to food items that are cheaper, accessible and affordable. Residents rush to sweet potato sellers or purchase the commodity for meals, while others cook and sell to make ends meet. In Katsina, Abdullahi Yamadi has more on this report.
Residents, especially low-income earners, make sweet potatoes one of their preferences. As the saying goes, a beggar has no choice. Many households resort to buying sweet potatoes, which is cheaper compared to other food items, to make meals as an alternative. The situation is no longer bearable. From these 700 naira potatoes, I rely for meal, and the leftover will be sold to meet other basic needs of my family. The price of everything has tripled without a corresponding increase in salaries and wages. I'm the breadwinner of my family. I can't afford other food items like rice, beans, yam, wheat, and others. As a low-income earner, I bought 400 naira potatoes for lunch, not knowing when and where the next meal will come from. That I left to Almighty Allah to provide. The price of sweet potatoes has gone up in recent days, largely due to increased demand and low supply of the commodity, a situation many attributed to cost of transportation on other farm inputs. Residents appealed to the state and the federal governments to, as a matter of urgency, rescue Nigerians from abject poverty and the persistent increase in the prices of essential commodities, and address further escalation of insecurity in the country. A bag of potatoes sold at 7,000 naira in recent months is now between 20 to 21,000 naira, largely due to high cost of farm inputs, fuel, and labor. Everybody have to bear with the situation. As you can see, it is season for irrigation activities, but many farmers have been forced out. We need an urgent intervention. Public commentators suggest immediate implementation of a living wage for all Nigerians in the public and private sectors, and subsidized farm inputs to reduce potential crises that may be triggered by food scarcity. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is alerting banks and Nigerians to be aware of counterfeit banknotes, especially higher denominations now spent in food markets and other commercial hubs in the country. According to Apex Bank, it is an offense punishable by imprisonment for any person to falsify, make or counterfeit any banknote or coin issued by the CBN. CBN disclosed this in a statement signed by its Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Mrs. Sidi Ali Hakama. The CBN says it is in constant collaboration with relevant security and financial agencies to confiscate fake Naira banknotes, arrest and prosecute counterfeiters. Members of the public are also encouraged to report anyone suspected of having counterfeit Naira notes to the nearest police station. Now let's join Chamong Debang for Business News Update.
The minimum paid-up capital requirement for Nigerian companies with foreign interest is 100 million naira, as set by the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC. This was revealed by the Commission in a statement posted on its website regarding the application of its updated Expatriate Quota Administration Handbook 2022. According to the Commission, any application for the incorporation of a company with foreign participation will only be processed if all requirements are met. It also stated that any incorporation application that does not comply with the requirements will not be accepted. Nigeria recorded $11.11 billion in forex inflow in between July and August 2023. Data on foreign exchange flows through the economy from the CBN's August economic report show that August figures increased by 5.8% over July. According to the report, in August 2023, the economy experienced a higher net foreign exchange inflow, primarily due to an increase in inflow from autonomous sources. In July 2023, the economy's foreign exchange inflows totaled $2.33 billion, a 2.9% increase from the $2.27 billion recorded in the previous month. The Central Bank of Nigeria has raised alarm over the spread of counterfeit currency, particularly higher denominations, that some people are using for transactions in food markets and other commercial areas in several of the nation's largest cities. In a statement by the CBN's Acting Director for Corporate Communications, Mrs. Hakama Sidi Ali, on Friday, falsifying or counterfeiting any banknote or coin issued by the CBN is a crime that carries a minimum of 5 years prison sentence. The top bank declared that in order to seize these counterfeit naira notes and to apprehend and prosecute those responsible, it is constantly working with pertinent security and financial organizations. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
And now on the international scene, the Canadian government has raised its cost of living financial requirement for study permit applicants, basically for international students, to $20,000 from $10,000 starting from January 1st, 2024. This was made known by the country's Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, Mark Miller, in a statement on Friday. According to him, from 2024, a single applicant will need to show they have $20,000 635, representing 75% of legal, in addition to their first year of tuition and travel cost. Adding this change will apply to new study permit applications received on or after January 1st, 2024. Starting January 1st, 2024, the cost of living financial requirement for study permit applicants will be raised so that international students are financially prepared for life in Canada. For close to 2 decades, study permit applicants for international students have remained at $10,000. This review, which takes effect from January 1st, will help prevent student vulnerability and exploitation, the statement added. This development is coming a few days after the United Kingdom introduced a new set of rules that will make it more difficult for Nigerians and older applicants to obtain a visa. Home Secretary James Cleverly announced the changes in the House of Commons on Monday. Still on the international news, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that there is no effective protection of civilians in Gaza and urged the UN Security Council to push for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Guterres convened an emergency meeting of the UNSC on Friday after weeks of fighting left more than 17,170 people dead in Gaza, mostly women and children, according to Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza, promising to destroy Hamas. Israel has relentlessly bombarded Gaza and sent in tanks and ground troops since the war began on October 7th with unprecedented attacks by Hamas on southern Israel. Hamas members killed about 1,200 people and took approximately 240 people captive, 138 of whom have not been released, Israel has said. Guterres deployed a rarely used Article 99 of the UN Charter to bring to the Council's attention any matter which, in his opinion, may threaten the maintenance of international peace and security. Deputy U.S. Ambassador Robert Wood told the Security Council that the U.S. did not support an immediate ceasefire. And now finally on sports news, Manchester United boss Eric Ten Hag and defender Harry Maguire have won November's Premier League Manager and Player of the Month awards. United lost 4 of their first 7 league matches this season, but have since climbed to 6th in the table. They won November's 3 league matches against Fulham, Luton and Everton without conceding. Maguire, who struggled for game time at the start of the season, played every minute in the 3 victories. The 30-year-old becomes the first United defender to win the award since Nemanja Vidic in January 2000. 2009. Still on sports news, former world number 1 Naomi Osaka has set her sights on the 2024 Paris Olympics as she prefers to return to action at the Brisbane International. The 26-year-old who gave birth to her first child in July has not played competitively since September 2022. The Brisbane International runs between 31 December and 7th January. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust TV News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.